Disclaimer: this video provides a summary and discussion of the key concepts from The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. It is intended for educational and informational purposes only. This video is not a substitute for reading the book in its entirety. For a deeper understanding and to explore all the insights and teachings, we encourage you to purchase The Power of Now through the links provided in the description below. About the author: Eckhart Tolle is a spiritual teacher and author best known for his works on mindfulness and personal transformation. Born in Germany, Tolle experienced an awakening at the age of 29 that dramatically shifted his outlook on life. He then devoted his life to helping others find inner peace and deeper awareness. The Power of Now, published in 1997, quickly gained popularity and became a spiritual classic, guiding millions of readers toward mental clarity and mindfulness. Tolle's approach is non-religious and focuses on universal truths, helping people live fully in the present moment and transcend the mental noise that often dominates our lives. Overview of the book: The Power of Now is a guide to spiritual awakening and inner peace, offering a path to personal transformation by focusing on the present moment. The central theme of the book is that most of human suffering comes from dwelling on the past or worrying about the future, rather than living in the now. Tolle teaches readers how to disconnect from the ego, the part of the mind that constantly analyzes and judges, and instead embrace the stillness of the present. By doing so, individuals can transcend pain, anxiety, and stress, and experience true peace and happiness. The book is structured around key principles, including the importance of presence, the role of the ego, and techniques for staying mindful in everyday life. It includes practical exercises to help readers break free from the mental patterns that cause suffering and embrace the power of now. Introduction. In the introduction, Eckhart Tolle shares the origins of the book, explaining how his personal transformation and awakening experience led him to write The Power of Now. He emphasizes that this book is not tied to any particular religion or belief system, but offers a practical guide to achieving inner peace by living fully in the present moment. Key takeaways. 1. Living in the now. Tolle introduces the central theme of the book. Focusing on the present moment is the key to overcoming suffering. 2. The truth within. He suggests that the truth and peace we seek are already within us, but we often miss it due to being trapped in our mind and its incessant thinking. 3. The power of now. By learning to live in the present, we can transcend the ego, which creates suffering through its attachment to past and future. The introduction sets the stage for the book's deep dive into mindfulness, presence, and awakening to a more peaceful way of living. Chapter 1. You are not your mind. 1. The greatest obstacle to enlightenment. Eckhart Tolle begins by identifying the mind, particularly its habitual and compulsive thinking, as the greatest barrier to enlightenment. According to Tolle, most people are trapped in an unconscious cycle of identifying with their thoughts, which leads to suffering. The mind creates a false sense of self, or ego, which constantly distracts us from the present moment. This egoic mind thrives on thoughts of the past and future, causing us to miss the only real moment, the present. Tolle emphasizes that true enlightenment comes from stepping outside this continuous stream of thinking and realizing that we are not our minds. 2. Freeing yourself from your mind. Tolle introduces the concept of observing the mind without identifying with it. He explains that to achieve true peace and awareness, you must become the watcher of your thoughts rather than being controlled by them. By watching your thoughts, you create a space of awareness that is separate from the mind. In this way, thoughts lose their power over you, and you begin to understand that your true essence lies beyond the mind's activity. This detachment from thought patterns is the beginning of freedom and peace. 3. Enlightenment, rising above thought. Enlightenment, according to Tolle, is not a mystical or distant state, but simply the ability to rise above thought. It means living in a state of pure presence, where you are fully engaged in the now without being pulled into the past or future by your mind. Tolle explains that the mind will try to resist this because it thrives on thinking. However, by practicing presence and becoming conscious of the mind's tricks, you can access a deeper state of awareness and intelligence beyond thought. Enlightenment involves shifting your identity away from the mind and into the stillness of pure consciousness. 4. Emotion, the body's reaction to your mind. In this section, Tolle explores the connection between thoughts and emotions. He explains that emotions are the body's response to thoughts. Negative thoughts trigger negative emotions, which manifest as tension, stress, or discomfort in the body. Tolle refers to these lingering negative emotions as the pain body, which feeds on negative thoughts and emotions. By observing both your thoughts and emotions without becoming entangled in them, you can break this cycle. Tolle encourages readers to remain present with their emotions and observe them as they arise, without judgment or reaction. This awareness allows you to stop identifying with emotional pain and instead let it dissolve. Key points. 1. Mind as the greatest obstacle. The mind and its constant thinking are the main barriers to enlightenment. The mind thrives on thoughts of the past and future, which distract from the present. 2. Become the watcher of your mind. By observing your thoughts without identifying with them, you create a space of awareness that leads to freedom from mental suffering. 3. Enlightenment as presence. Enlightenment is about rising above thought and living in the present moment, free from the ego's grip. This leads to inner peace and a deeper connection with consciousness. 4. Emotions and the pain body. Emotions are the body's response to the mind. Negative thoughts fuel negative emotions, but through awareness and observation, you can break free from this cycle and release emotional pain. Chapter 2. Consciousness, the way out of pain. 1. Create no more pain in the present. Eckhart Tolle begins Chapter 2 by explaining how most of the pain and suffering we experience is self-created by the mind. This suffering often stems from dwelling on past events or worrying about future possibilities, both of which take us out of the present moment. Tolle emphasizes that by being fully present, we can stop creating new pain. The key is to become aware of the mind's tendency to resist the present and to consciously bring attention back to the now, where suffering cannot thrive. Presence dissolves the illusions of past and future, leaving only peace in the present. 2. Past pain, dissolving the pain body. Tolle introduces the concept of the pain body, which is an accumulation of emotional pain from past experiences that has been stored in the body. This pain body is often reactivated by certain triggers in our environment, leading to suffering in the present. The pain body feeds on negative emotions and grows stronger when we dwell on painful memories. To dissolve the pain body, Tolle advises becoming aware of it when it arises and observing it without feeding it through negative thoughts. This awareness breaks the pain body's hold, allowing it to gradually dissolve, leaving you more at peace. 3. Ego identification with the pain body. In this section, Tolle explains how the ego, or the false sense of self, becomes identified with the pain body. The ego uses the pain body to sustain itself because the pain body provides the ego with a sense of identity through suffering. People often unconsciously define themselves through their pain and the stories they tell about past hurt. To escape this identification, Tolle advises becoming aware of the pain body without letting it define who you are. By observing it as a separate entity, you create distance between the true self and the ego, which weakens the pain body's control. 4. The origin of fear. Tolle links fear directly to the ego's need for survival. The ego is rooted in time, constantly worrying about the future and holding on to the past, creating fear as a way to protect itself. However, fear is often a response to imaginary scenarios that may never happen. Tolle emphasizes that fear cannot exist in the present moment. When we become fully present, fear dissolves because it relies on future projections or past traumas. The solution to overcoming fear is to step out of time and into the now, where the ego has no power. 5. The ego's search for wholeness. The ego constantly seeks fulfillment through external things such as achievements, relationships, material possessions, but it can never be truly satisfied. This search for wholeness is driven by a deep sense of incompleteness that the ego tries to fill by attaching itself to things outside of the self. However, Tolle points out that true wholeness cannot be found externally. The search for wholeness only ends when we transcend the ego and become aware of our connection to the present moment and the underlying consciousness that is our true self. In this state, the need for external validation or fulfillment disappears. Key points. 1. Stop creating new pain. By staying present and resisting the mind's tendency to focus on the past or future, we can stop creating additional pain in the now. 2. Dissolving the pain body. The pain body is the accumulation of past emotional pain stored in the body. By bringing awareness to it without feeding it through negative thoughts, it can dissolve. 3. Ego and pain body identification. The ego sustains itself by identifying with the pain body. Through awareness, we can stop defining ourselves by past pain and reduce the ego's control over us. 4. Fear and the ego. Fear is a product of the ego's attachment to time, that is worrying about the future or clinging to the past. By stepping into the present, we can dissolve fear. 5. Ego's search for wholeness. The ego's constant search for fulfillment through external sources is futile. True wholeness comes from transcending the ego and connecting with the present moment. Chapter 3. Moving deeply into the now. 1. Don't seek yourself in the mind. Eckhart Tolle emphasizes that the mind cannot provide the true sense of self. Most people seek their identity through thoughts, beliefs, or mental constructs, but Tolle argues that the real self lies beyond the mind. The mind is filled with thoughts of past and future, which are illusions, and identifying with these thoughts disconnects us from the present. Tolle stresses that we must look beyond the mind to the deeper awareness of the present moment where our true essence resides. 2. End the delusion of time. Tolle introduces the idea that time, as we understand it, is an illusion. The past and future exist only in our minds, not in reality. He explains that by constantly thinking about the past or future, we miss the only real moment, which is the present. To live fully, we must free ourselves from the mind's attachment to time and become fully engaged in the present. The obsession with time is the root of much suffering. 3. Nothing exists outside the now. Tolle argues that the present moment is the only reality, and nothing exists outside of it. The past is just a memory, and the future is an imagined projection. He encourages readers to recognize the power of the now and to realize that the present is all there ever is. By embracing this truth, we can stop the mind's endless chatter about past regrets and future anxieties, allowing us to experience peace and presence. 4. The key to the spiritual dimension. The present moment is the gateway to the spiritual dimension, Tolle explains. When we live in the now, we transcend the ego and connect with a deeper consciousness. This state of presence opens the door to spiritual awakening, where we can experience a sense of peace and fulfillment that cannot be found in external circumstances or achievements. The spiritual dimension is not something we need to seek. It's accessible through the present moment. 5. Accessing the power of the now. Tolle explains that the power of the now lies in its ability to free us from the mind's control and the ego's incessant demands. When we live in the present moment, we access a deeper intelligence that goes beyond mental thinking. This power allows us to face life's challenges with clarity and peace rather than anxiety or fear. The present moment contains all the power we need to handle any situation. 6. Letting go of psychological time. Tolle differentiates between clock time, which we use for practical purposes, and psychological time, which is a mental construct that keeps us trapped in past regrets or future anxieties. He encourages readers to let go of psychological time, as it only creates suffering. By releasing the mind's obsession with time, we can live more fully in the present and experience true peace. 7. The insanity of psychological time. Tolle describes psychological time as a form of insanity because it disconnects us from the reality of the present moment. When we are lost in thoughts about the past or future, we are not fully alive. This disconnection from the now creates emotional pain, anxiety, and stress. Tolle urges readers to recognize this insanity and choose to live in the present, where life is actually happening. 8. Negativity and suffering have their roots in time. Tolle explains that most forms of negativity, whether they are anxiety, resentment, or fear, are rooted in the mind's obsession with time. We suffer because we are either dwelling on the past or worrying about the future. When we focus on the now, negativity cannot survive. The present moment is free from the psychological baggage of time, allowing us to experience peace. 9. Finding the life underneath your life situation. In this section, Tolle differentiates between our life situation, which is external circumstances, and life itself, which is our inner, conscious being. He encourages readers to stop identifying with their life situation, which is temporary and subject to change, and instead connect with the deeper, unchanging life that exists within. This inner life is eternal and can be accessed by becoming fully present. When we stop identifying with our external circumstances, we find peace and fulfillment. Key points. 1. Don't seek identity in the mind. Our true self lies beyond thoughts and mental constructs. By identifying with the mind, we disconnect from the present moment. 2. End the delusion of time. Time is an illusion, and living in the past or future creates suffering. The present moment is the only reality. 3. Nothing exists outside the now. The now is the only real moment. The past and future are mental constructs that distract us from the present. 4. The present is the key to spiritual awakening. Presence opens the door to spiritual growth and deeper consciousness. 5. The power of now. The present moment contains the power to free us from the mind's control and the ego's demands. 6. Let go of psychological time. Psychological time, dwelling on the past or future, causes suffering. By living in the present, we experience peace. 7. Psychological time is insanity. Constantly living in the past or future disconnects us from reality and creates emotional pain. 8. Negativity is rooted in time. Most negative emotions are caused by focusing on time. In the present, negativity cannot survive. 9. Life versus life situation. Stop identifying with your external circumstances, which is life situation, and connect with the deeper, eternal life within. Chapter 4. Mind Strategies for Avoiding the Now. 1. Loss of now, the core delusion. Eckhart Tolle begins this chapter by explaining that one of the mind's main strategies for avoiding the present moment is the belief that the now is not enough. This delusion causes us to constantly focus on the future or dwell on the past, believing that fulfillment and happiness can only be found elsewhere. The mind resists the present because it thrives on problems and drama, which keeps us from fully experiencing the moment and leads to suffering. 2. Ordinary unconsciousness and deep unconsciousness. Tolle describes two types of unconsciousness that prevent people from living in the present. First, ordinary unconsciousness. This is a common state of being where people are slightly disconnected from the present. It manifests in day-to-day distractions, mild irritations, and dissatisfaction with life. It's not deeply painful, but keeps individuals from fully experiencing the now. Second, deep unconsciousness. This state is much more intense and involves being completely overwhelmed by negative emotions such as anger, fear, or sadness. Deep unconsciousness takes over a person entirely, leading to prolonged periods of suffering and emotional distress. 3. What are they seeking? In this section, Tolle asks what it is that people are truly seeking when they resist the present moment. The answer is peace and fulfillment. But the mind mistakenly believes these things can only be found in the future or through external circumstances. Tolle argues that this search is misguided because peace and fulfillment can only be experienced in the present. The mind keeps us in a constant state of seeking as a way of avoiding the now, leading to ongoing dissatisfaction. 4. Dissolving ordinary unconsciousness. To dissolve ordinary unconsciousness, Tolle advises practicing awareness and presence in everyday activities. Instead of allowing the mind to wander, we should fully engage with whatever we are doing, no matter how mundane. Whether it's washing dishes or driving to work, bringing full attention to the task at hand helps anchor us in the present. This practice gradually dissolves the state of ordinary unconsciousness, allowing us to live more fully in the now. 5. Freedom from unhappiness. Tolle explains that true freedom from unhappiness comes when we stop identifying with our thoughts and emotions. By staying present and observing the mind without getting pulled into its stories, we can free ourselves from habitual unhappiness. The mind thrives on conflict and negativity, but by practicing presence, we can choose not to engage with these mental patterns, leading to greater peace. 6. Wherever you are, be there totally. One of Tolle's key teachings in this chapter is the importance of fully embracing the present moment, no matter where we are or what we are doing. He advises that wherever we find ourselves, we should be fully there, both mentally and emotionally. This means letting go of resistance to the present situation and accepting it as it is. By doing so, we align ourselves with the flow of life and experience greater peace. 7. The inner purpose of your life's journey. Tolle explains that while people often focus on external goals and achievements, the true purpose of life is an inner journey of awakening and presence. This inner purpose is more important than any external circumstances because it allows us to connect with our true self and experience fulfillment in the now. When we align with our inner purpose, we can approach external challenges and goals with a sense of peace and presence. 8. The past cannot survive in your presence. Tolle concludes the chapter by emphasizing that the past only has power over us when we allow it to. When we live in the present moment, the stories and traumas of the past lose their grip. The present moment is so powerful that the past cannot survive within it. By staying anchored in the now, we dissolve the hold that past pain and memories have on our minds, allowing us to live more freely and fully. Key points. 1. Loss of now. The mind constantly seeks fulfillment in the future, creating the delusion that the present is insufficient, which leads to suffering. 2. Ordinary and deep unconsciousness. Ordinary unconsciousness manifests as mild distractions, while deep unconsciousness involves being overwhelmed by negative emotions. Both prevent living fully in the present. 3. The search for peace. People are constantly seeking peace and fulfillment, but the mind misguides them by making them believe it can only be found in the future. 4. Dissolving unconsciousness. By practicing awareness in everyday activities, we can dissolve ordinary unconsciousness and stay anchored in the present moment. 5. Freedom from unhappiness. True freedom comes from observing thoughts and emotions without engaging in them, which prevents habitual unhappiness. 6. Be present wherever you are. Fully accepting and engaging with the present situation, no matter where you are, leads to greater peace and alignment with life. 7. Inner purpose of life. The inner journey of awakening and presence is more important than external achievements, as it connects us to our true essence. 8. The past dissolves in presence. The past loses its power when we are fully present. Anchoring ourselves in the now dissolves the hold that past pain and trauma have on us. Chapter 5. The State of Presence. 1. It's not what you think it is. Eckhart Tolle begins by explaining that presence is often misunderstood because it is beyond thought. Presence is not something the mind can grasp, label, or understand logically. It is a state of deep, conscious awareness that transcends the mind's constant chatter. Tolle emphasizes that true presence is about simply being free from identification with thoughts or external circumstances. This state is pure awareness, where one is fully alert, but without the noise of mental commentary. 2. The esoteric meaning of waiting. Tolle delves into the concept of waiting, not in the usual sense of anticipation or frustration, but as a gateway into presence. He explains that waiting, when done consciously, can become an opportunity to be fully present and alert without being attached to the future. This type of waiting is devoid of anxiety or impatience, as it is focused entirely on the now. It teaches us how to embrace stillness, using even mundane moments of waiting as a practice in presence. 3. Beauty arises in the stillness of your presence. In this section, Tolle reveals that when we are fully present, we begin to notice the beauty in life's simplest moments. The stillness of presence allows us to appreciate the world around us in a deeper way. Whether it's the beauty of nature, the rhythm of our breath, or the subtle movements of life, presence heightens our awareness and deepens our connection to the world, helping us to see beauty in things we might otherwise overlook. 4. Realizing pure consciousness. Tolle explains that the ultimate state of presence is what he calls pure consciousness. This is the experience of being fully awake and aware, without being caught up in thoughts or emotions. In this state, we transcend the ego and connect with a higher, universal consciousness. Pure consciousness is beyond the mind's limited understanding and offers a profound sense of peace and unity with the world. It is the realization of one's true essence beyond the identity of the mind. Key points. 1. Presence is beyond thought. Presence is a state of pure awareness that cannot be understood by the mind. It transcends thinking and identification with external circumstances. 2. The esoteric meaning of waiting. Conscious waiting can be a practice in presence, allowing us to focus entirely on the now without anxiety about the future. 3. Beauty in stillness. In the stillness of presence, we become more aware of the beauty in the world around us, appreciating life in its simplest forms. 4. Realizing pure consciousness. The ultimate state of presence is pure consciousness, where we transcend the ego and connect with a universal sense of peace and unity. Chapter 6. The Inner Body. 1. Being is your deepest self. In this chapter, Eckhart Tolle explains that the true self, or being, exists beyond the mind and the physical body. Our deepest self is not the thoughts we think or the body we inhabit, but rather the awareness behind them. Being is the essence of who we truly are, and it can be accessed by becoming deeply present and aware of the inner body. 2. Look beyond the words. Tolle urges the reader not to get caught up in the words he uses, as words are merely pointers to a deeper reality. The true experience of the inner body and being cannot be fully expressed through language. Instead, he advises readers to go beyond the words and feel the truth that they point toward. 3. Finding your invisible and indestructible reality. Tolle explains that the inner body connects us to an invisible and indestructible reality. This inner energy field is always present and represents our true essence, which is eternal and untouched by external circumstances. By tuning into this energy, we can feel our connection to a deeper, more profound existence. 4. Connecting with the inner body. Tolle suggests that we can connect with the inner body by bringing attention to the sensation of aliveness within us. This may involve focusing on the energy within our hands, feet, or chest. By shifting our awareness from the external world to the internal energy field, we can cultivate a deeper connection to the present moment and experience a sense of stillness and peace. 5. Transformation through the body. According to Tolle, the body is a powerful tool for transformation. By staying present and feeling the inner body, we can transcend the mind's chatter and connect with a higher state of consciousness. The body can serve as an anchor to the now, helping us stay grounded in the present moment and facilitating spiritual growth. 6. Sermon on the Body. In this section, Tolle emphasizes the importance of honoring and caring for the body, as it is the vehicle through which we experience the world. He encourages readers to listen to their bodies and treat them with respect. By doing so, we become more attuned to the present and deepen our connection with life. 7. Have deep roots within. Tolle explains that having deep roots within means being grounded in the present moment through awareness of the inner body. This grounding provides stability and strength, especially during times of emotional turmoil or external challenges. By being deeply rooted in the now, we can remain centered and peaceful regardless of what is happening around us. 8. Before you enter the body, forgive. Tolle introduces the idea that forgiveness is essential for accessing the inner body fully. Holding on to grievances or resentment creates blockages that prevent us from experiencing the inner stillness and peace. By forgiving others and letting go of negative emotions, we clear the way for deeper connection with our true self. 9. Your link with the unmanifested. Tolle describes the inner body as a portal to the unmanifested, or the formless dimension of consciousness. By connecting with the inner body, we can access this deeper level of existence that is beyond the material world. The unmanifested represents the source of life itself, and through presence, we can experience our connection to it. 10. Slowing down the aging process. Tolle explains that staying present and connected to the inner body can slow down the aging process. Stress and mental tension accelerate aging, but by living in the now and being in touch with the inner body, we reduce stress and allow the body to function more harmoniously. Presence brings vitality to the body. 11. Strengthening the immune system. Tolle also notes that presence and connection with the inner body can strengthen the immune system. When we live in a state of presence, the body's natural healing processes are enhanced. Stress, which weakens the immune system, is reduced when we focus on the inner body and live in the present moment. 12. Let the breath take you into the body. Tolle suggests using the breath as a tool to connect with the inner body. By focusing on the breath and feeling it as it moves through the body, we can become more present and aware of the energy within us. The breath serves as a bridge between the mind and the inner body, helping us shift our focus away from thinking and into being. 13. Creative use of mind. While Tolle emphasizes the importance of being present, he also acknowledges that the mind is a useful tool when used correctly. He advises using the mind creatively and consciously, rather than letting it control us with endless chatter. By remaining present, we can access a higher level of creativity and intelligence that goes beyond ordinary thinking. 14. The art of listening. Tolle concludes by discussing the power of listening with full presence. When we listen without the filter of the mind, without judging, analyzing, or preparing a response, we enter a state of deep connection with the other person. This kind of listening allows us to connect more deeply with others and with life itself, fostering understanding and compassion. Key points. 1. Being is your true self. The deepest part of yourself is beyond thought and the physical body. It is pure awareness or being. 2. Look beyond words. Words are merely pointers to a deeper reality. The truth of the inner body cannot be fully expressed in language, but must be felt directly. 3. Connect with the inner body. By shifting attention to the inner energy field, we connect with our true essence and the present moment. 4. Transformation through the body. The body serves as a portal to presence and higher consciousness, aiding in spiritual growth and inner peace. 5. Forgiveness and inner body connection. Letting go of grievances and forgiving others is essential to fully experiencing the inner body's peace and stillness. 6. The inner body and health. Being present and connected to the inner body slows down aging, strengthens the immune system, and reduces stress. 7. The breath as a tool. The breath can guide us into the inner body and help us maintain presence, serving as a bridge between mind and being. Chapter 7. Portals into the Unmanifested. 1. Going deeply into the body. Eckhart Tolle explains that the body is a powerful portal to the unmanifested, or the formless dimension of existence. By going deeply into the inner body, by focusing on the energy field within us, we can transcend the mind and access this higher state of consciousness. The inner body connects us to a realm beyond the physical and mental, helping us experience presence and peace. 2. The source of qi. Tolle introduces the concept of qi, which is the life force or vital energy that flows through all living beings. He explains that this energy comes from the unmanifested and sustains our physical form. By connecting with the inner body and becoming present, we tap into this source of qi, which brings vitality and a deeper sense of aliveness. 3. Dreamless sleep. Dreamless sleep is described as another portal to the unmanifested. During this state, we experience pure consciousness without the distractions of the mind or body. Tolle notes that while we are not conscious of the unmanifested during dreamless sleep, we are still deeply connected to it. This state is a reminder of the formless dimension that exists beyond waking life. 4. Other portals. Tolle explains that there are other portals that provide access to the unmanifested beyond the body and sleep. These portals are simple but profound experiences that we often overlook. They serve as moments of connection to the formless and help us stay present in the now. 5. Silence. Silence is one of the most accessible portals to the unmanifested. When we experience silence, we create space in the mind, allowing us to connect more deeply with the present moment. Tolle emphasizes that true silence is not just the absence of noise, but an inner stillness that allows us to experience the peace of the unmanifested. 6. Space. Tolle refers to both physical and mental space as another portal. Just as the silence between sounds allows us to perceive the beauty of music, the space between thoughts allows us to experience the formless presence. By becoming aware of the space around and within us, we tap into the unmanifested. 7. The true nature of space and time. In this section, Tolle explains that space and time are constructs of the mind and that they do not exist in the unmanifested. In the unmanifested dimension, everything is timeless and formless. By realizing the true nature of space and time, we understand that the present moment is all there is, and through presence, we access the formless, eternal reality. 8. Conscious death. Tolle introduces the concept of conscious death as the ultimate portal to the unmanifested. Death is often feared because it is seen as the end of the physical body and identity. However, Tolle explains that death is a transition into the unmanifested, where the essence of who we truly are continues. By understanding death as a return to the formless, we can approach it without fear and live more fully in the present. Key points. 1. The body as a portal. By going deeply into the inner body, we connect to the unmanifested, a formless dimension of consciousness. 2. Qi and vital energy. The life force, qi, that sustains us comes from the unmanifested. Presence and awareness of the inner body help us tap into this energy. 3. Dreamless sleep. Dreamless sleep provides a glimpse of the unmanifested, a state of pure consciousness without the interference of the mind or body. 4. other portals to the unmanifested. Silence, space, and other simple moments in life can act as portals to the unmanifested, helping us stay present. 5. Silence and space. Silence and space are powerful tools for accessing the unmanifested. They create a stillness that connects us to the formless dimension. 6. Time and space as constructs. Time and space are mental constructs. By understanding their true nature, we can live in the eternal present and connect with the unmanifested. 7. Conscious death. Death is a transition into the unmanifested, where the true self continues. Understanding death in this way helps remove fear and encourages living fully in the present. Chapter 8. Enlightened Relationships. 1. Enter the now from wherever you are. Eckhart Tolle begins by explaining that the foundation of enlightened relationships is the present. By entering the present moment, or the now, from wherever you are, you bring full awareness into your interactions. Relationships often bring out unconscious patterns, but by staying present, you can break these patterns and relate to others from a place of stillness and consciousness. 2. Love-hate relationships. Tolle discusses the dynamic of many romantic relationships, which oscillate between love and hate. This is due to the ego's attachment to the partner for a sense of identity and fulfillment. When expectations are not met, love turns to hate. Tolle explains that these relationships are ego-driven and exist in a cycle of dependency and blame. True love, however, arises only in the state of being fully in the present, free from ego-based expectations. 3. Addiction and the search for wholeness. Tolle explains that many people enter relationships out of a subconscious desire to fill a void within themselves. They become addicted to their partner as a source of emotional fulfillment and identity. This addiction leads to suffering because no external relationship can provide the wholeness that can only come from within. Tolle argues that the key to breaking this cycle is to stop seeking external validation and instead turn inward to find completeness by being fully present and aware in the now. 4. From addictive to enlightened relationships. In this section, Tolle provides guidance on how to move from an ego-driven, addictive relationship to an enlightened one. An enlightened relationship is grounded in presence and free from emotional dependency. Both partners accept each other as they are, without seeking fulfillment through the other. This type of relationship is based on mutual presence and awareness, allowing both individuals to grow spiritually together. 5. Relationships as spiritual practice. Tolle suggests viewing relationships as spiritual practice. By remaining present during conflicts, misunderstandings, or challenges, relationships become opportunities for personal and spiritual growth. When two individuals are conscious and present in a relationship, the relationship itself becomes a practice in mindfulness and presence, helping both partners transcend the ego. 6. Why women are closer to enlightenment. Tolle explains that women are often more connected to their bodies and the present moment, which makes them more attuned to the process of enlightenment. Historically, women have been more in touch with their emotional and physical selves, and this connection brings them closer to spiritual awakening. However, Tolle also cautions that the ego can manifest through emotional suffering, which can prevent both men and women from accessing presence. 7. Dissolving the collective female pain body. Tolle introduces the concept of the collective female pain body, which is the accumulation of emotional pain carried by women throughout history. This pain is passed down through generations and is often triggered in relationships. Tolle explains that by becoming present and observing the pain body without identifying with it, women can begin to dissolve this collective pain. Men, too, can assist in this process by bringing presence and awareness into their interactions with women. 8. Give up the relationship with yourself. Tolle concludes by addressing the concept of the relationship with oneself. He argues that this concept is misleading because it implies a division within the self. In reality, the true self is beyond thought and cannot be divided. By letting go of the idea of a relationship with oneself and instead becoming fully present, we can experience wholeness and inner peace. This presence is the foundation of enlightened relationships with others. Key points. 1. Presence in relationships. The foundation of enlightened relationships is presence. By entering the now, you can relate to others from a place of stillness and awareness. 2. Love-hate dynamics. Ego-driven relationships often oscillate between love and hate due to unmet expectations. True love can only emerge through presence and the dissolution of the ego. 3. Addiction to relationships. Many people seek fulfillment in relationships, leading to emotional addiction. Wholeness must come from within, not from external sources. 4. Enlightened relationships. An enlightened relationship is free from emotional dependency and grounded in mutual presence and acceptance. 5. Relationships as spiritual practice. Conflicts and challenges in relationships offer opportunities for spiritual growth by remaining present and mindful. 6. Women and enlightenment. Women's connection to their bodies and emotions often brings them closer to spiritual awakening, though both genders must transcend the ego. 7. Dissolving the female pain body. The collective female pain body can be dissolved through presence and awareness, breaking the cycle of emotional suffering. 8. Let go of the relationship with yourself. The idea of a relationship with oneself is a mental construct. True wholeness comes from presence, beyond the mind's divisions. Chapter 9. Beyond happiness and unhappiness, there is peace. 1. The higher good beyond good and bad. Eckhart Tolle begins this chapter by explaining that true peace exists beyond the dualities of good and bad, or happiness and unhappiness. He argues that these concepts are rooted in the mind, which constantly labels and judges experiences. True peace comes from rising above these mental judgments and embracing a state of being where life is accepted as it is, without resistance. This higher state of consciousness transcends the mind's tendency to categorize life into good or bad. 2. The end of your life drama. Tolle explains that much of human suffering comes from the mental drama we create around our life situations. The ego thrives on conflict, victimhood, and storytelling, which perpetuates drama and suffering. By becoming present and stepping out of the mind's narratives, we can end this self-created drama. In presence, life unfolds without the added layer of mental commentary, allowing for peace and acceptance. 3. Impermanence and the cycles of life. Tolle highlights that all life situations and experiences are temporary. Everything is constantly changing and clinging to things, whether it's success, happiness, or even our sense of identity, only creates suffering. Instead, by embracing the impermanence and natural cycles of life, we can move with its changes rather than resist them. This acceptance allows us to find inner peace because we stop struggling against the inevitable patterns of gain and loss, success, and failure. 4. Using and relinquishing negativity. Tolle explains that negativity, such as anger, frustration, or resentment, often arises from resisting what is. However, he suggests that even negativity can be used as a tool for awakening. By becoming aware of the negative emotions as they arise and observing them without identification, we can dissolve them. Tolle advises not to suppress negativity, but to observe it consciously and then let it go, which leads to liberation from its hold. 5. The nature of compassion. Compassion, according to Tolle, arises naturally when we stop identifying with the ego and become present. When we are no longer caught up in our own mental drama, we can see others without judgment and recognize their suffering. Compassion is not pity, but a deep understanding of shared humanity, and it flows effortlessly when we are grounded in presence. Through compassion, we connect more deeply with others and experience the peace that comes from non-judgmental awareness. 6. toward a different order of reality. Tolle concludes by explaining that the peace beyond happiness and unhappiness represents a shift toward a higher level of consciousness. This new order of reality is based on presence, acceptance, and stillness, rather than the mind's constant need for judgment, drama, or striving. In this higher state, we experience life as it is, without resistance or attachment, which brings about a profound sense of peace and fulfillment. Key points. 1. Peace beyond duality. True peace exists beyond the mind's judgments of good and bad, or happiness and unhappiness. It is found in acceptance and presence. 2. End-of-life drama. The ego creates unnecessary drama and suffering through mental narratives. By stepping into presence, we can end this drama and live with greater peace. 3. Impermanence. Life's impermanence and cycles are inevitable. By accepting change, we free ourselves from suffering and flow with life's natural rhythms. 4. Dealing with negativity. Negativity can be used as a tool for awakening. By observing and relinquishing negative emotions consciously, we dissolve their hold over us. 5. Compassion. Compassion arises naturally from presence. When we are not identified with our own ego, we can see others clearly and connect with their suffering without judgment. 6. A higher reality. The peace beyond happiness and unhappiness represents a higher state of consciousness, one that is grounded in stillness, acceptance, and presence. Chapter 10. The Meaning of Surrender. 1. Acceptance of the now. Eckhart Tolle begins the final chapter by explaining that surrender means complete acceptance of the present moment, regardless of its external conditions. He emphasizes that surrender is not about giving up, but about acknowledging reality as it is, without resistance. By accepting the present fully, we stop the mental struggle against what is and find peace in the now. Surrender allows us to flow with life, rather than fight against it. 2. From mind energy to spiritual energy. Tolle explains that when we resist the present moment, we waste a significant amount of energy on mental resistance and negativity. However, when we surrender, this mind energy transforms into spiritual energy, which is a state of inner peace and stillness. This transformation allows us to access a higher level of consciousness and connects us to the deeper intelligence of life itself. 3. Surrender in personal relationships. Tolle highlights the importance of surrender in personal relationships. Instead of trying to control others or the outcomes of relationships, surrender means accepting people and situations as they are. This doesn't mean passivity, but rather an acknowledgement that we cannot change others or force situations to fit our desires. By letting go of resistance and control, we create space for harmony and presence in relationships. 4. Transforming illness into enlightenment. Tolle explains that illness can be a powerful opportunity for spiritual growth if approached with the right mindset. By surrendering to the experience of illness rather than resisting or fighting it, we can learn to detach from the mind and the ego. Illness often forces individuals to slow down and become present, which can lead to greater awareness and even enlightenment. 5. When disaster strikes. When faced with disasters or crises, Tolle suggests that surrender becomes even more critical. By accepting the reality of the situation and letting go of resistance, we can find inner peace even in the midst of turmoil. Surrender does not mean inaction, but rather a state of non-resistance that allows us to respond to crises from a place of clarity and strength. 6. Transforming suffering into peace. Tolle emphasizes that suffering can be transformed into peace through surrender. When we accept suffering without mentally resisting it or identifying with it, we create space for inner peace. Surrendering to the experience allows us to let go of the mental narratives that prolong suffering and instead move into a state of acceptance and presence. 7. The Way of the Cross. In this section, Tolle references the Christian concept of the Way of the Cross, explaining that it symbolizes the process of surrender and transformation through suffering. Just as Jesus accepted his suffering and transcended it, Tolle suggests that we too can use suffering as a pathway to enlightenment if we surrender to it without resistance. This surrender brings us closer to spiritual awakening. 8. The power to choose. Tolle concludes by reminding us that we always have the power to choose how we respond to life. Surrender is a choice, and we can choose to either resist what is happening or accept it. By choosing surrender, we align ourselves with the present moment and experience a sense of peace and inner freedom, no matter what external circumstances may arise. Key points. 1. Acceptance of the now. Surrender means fully accepting the present moment without mental resistance. This acceptance brings peace and allows us to flow with life. 2. Mind energy to spiritual energy. Resisting the present drains mental energy. By surrendering, we transform that energy into spiritual stillness and inner peace. 3. Surrender in relationships. In relationships, surrender means accepting others and situations as they are, without trying to control or manipulate outcomes. 4. Illness as a path to enlightenment. Illness can serve as a portal to spiritual growth when we surrender to it, using it as an opportunity to become more present and aware. 5. Surrender in crisis. Even in disaster, surrendering to the reality of the situation allows us to respond with clarity and inner strength. 6. Transforming suffering. Suffering can be transformed into peace through surrender, as resistance only prolongs suffering. 7. The way of the cross. Tolle references the Christian symbolism of surrender through suffering, suggesting that acceptance of hardship can lead to spiritual enlightenment. 8. The power to choose. We have the power to choose surrender or resistance. By choosing surrender, we align with the present moment and experience peace, regardless of circumstances. Review of the book. Eckhart Tolle's The Power of Now is a profound and transformative book that has touched millions of lives by introducing the concept of living fully in the present moment. Its central message that true peace and fulfillment can only be found in the present, not in the past or future, resonates deeply with readers seeking relief from the stress and chaos of modern life. Strengths. 1. Simplicity and accessibility. One of the greatest strengths of The Power of Now is its simplicity. Tolle distills complex spiritual teachings into clear, understandable language. This accessibility makes the book appealing not only to seasoned spiritual seekers, but also to newcomers who are unfamiliar with mindfulness or meditation practices. Tolle's gentle, non-dogmatic approach invites readers from all backgrounds to explore his teachings without feeling overwhelmed or alienated. 2. Practical application. The book doesn't just offer theoretical insights. It provides practical tools and exercises that readers can use to bring more presence into their daily lives. Tolle's emphasis on observing the mind, using the breath to anchor oneself in the present, and letting go of resistance makes his teachings easy to implement in everyday situations. These exercises help readers begin to experience the benefits of presence, from reduced stress to increased clarity and emotional balance. 3. Universal appeal. While rooted in spiritual traditions, Tolle's message transcends religious boundaries. He draws from various spiritual philosophies, including Christianity, Buddhism, and Taoism, but focuses on the universal experience of consciousness. This broad perspective allows the book to appeal to readers from diverse spiritual or non-spiritual backgrounds, making it a cornerstone in the self-help and personal development genres. 4. Focus on inner transformation. The Power of Now emphasizes that true change must come from within. Rather than focusing on external circumstances or material success, Tolle urges readers to look inward for peace and happiness. This inward focus encourages readers to take responsibility for their own mental and emotional well-being, which can be incredibly empowering. Criticism. 1. Repetitiveness. One critique of the book is its occasional repetitiveness. Tolle often reiterates the same points about presence and the ego throughout different chapters, which may feel redundant to some readers. However, this repetition also serves to reinforce his core message, ensuring that readers internalize the concepts. For those who find the teachings helpful, this repetition can be seen as a way to deepen their understanding. 2. Abstract concepts. While Tolle makes a strong effort to explain complex ideas in simple terms, some concepts, such as the pain body or the unmanifested, may feel abstract or difficult to grasp, especially for readers unfamiliar with spiritual terminology. At times, these ideas can seem mystical or vague, which might lead to confusion for some. However, for those who are open to spiritual exploration, these ideas can offer a deeper perspective on personal growth and emotional healing. 3. Lack of concrete solutions for practical problems. Some readers might feel that the power of now focuses too heavily on internal transformation without addressing practical, real-world issues such as career challenges or relationship difficulties. While the book encourages presence and acceptance, it doesn't offer specific advice on how to handle external problems. For readers looking for more tangible, action-oriented solutions, this might feel like a limitation. Conclusion. Overall, The Power of Now is a groundbreaking work that offers profound insights into how we can live more peaceful and fulfilling lives by embracing the present moment. Its teachings on presence, the ego, and the nature of suffering are life-changing for many readers, providing them with a new way of viewing themselves and the world. While some of the concepts may feel abstract or repetitive, the book's emphasis on practical application and inner transformation makes it a valuable guide for anyone seeking personal growth and spiritual awakening. For readers who are ready to go beyond the surface of life and dive deep into the essence of being, The Power of Now offers timeless wisdom and practical tools to help them find peace, joy, and fulfillment in the present moment.